There is tension among members of a community in the FCT following a bizarre murder of a young graduate, while dwellers of another town are in mourning over the same crime of murder, and you will never guess who allegedly committed the crime. In the meantime, we will examine the recurring problem of child labor with a case study involving a minor who went through abuse from when she was a toddler. Apart from events like turbaning and the unveiling of innovative products, our friends in the eastern part of the country will be telling us how they are observing the Ramadan. But I will be back with details of these and others after Claire Adilabu Abdulrazak is done reading the news. Happy Sunday, Claire.
Thank you, Becky. And let's quickly begin the news with celebrations. And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo this Sunday celebrates with President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Samson Olashukbo Ayokunde, as he winds down as President of the Nigerian Baptist Convention after a successful 10-year tenure. Our State House correspondent Gideon Ifade reports.
For the Nigerian Baptist Convention President, Reverend Samson Olashukbo Ayokunle, whose 10 years leadership is coming to an end, the fundamentals are focusing on plans and casting vision on a rock, as well as having a good team to actualize the dream. One of his achievements is the development of this massive convention ground. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is here to celebrate with him and the church.
The journey to the promise of God for Nigeria is going through storms and adversity, but the end will be better than the beginning. Weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. And I am completely convinced that nobody, no group, no ideology can defeat the promise of God for the greatness of Nigeria.
It's a challenging time in Nigeria, but we must challenge our challenges. We must confront the issues confronting us. We must never turn back. We must be determined. In finishing the race with joy, we must be committed.
Moving forward and finishing with joy, as noted as this 108th annual Baptist Convention, requires commitment and endurance. With the firm belief of triumph over all challenges, be they of economy, health, and insecurity. To them, winning is not for those that will it or runneth. It is of the Lord that shows mercy. From the Baptist International Conference Center in Ogun State, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And now the slogan, Stand Up, Take Action, is a call to action for all stakeholders to reaffirm their commitment to malaria control and health in general. Now, this is in line with the theme for this year's World Malaria Day, Zero Malaria, Draw the Line Against Malaria. In this report, Basi Itaikman takes a look at the effect of the pandemic on malaria interventions as Nigeria joins the world to mark another Malaria Day.
World Malaria Day is aimed at creating awareness on the need for collective responsibility towards ending the devastating scourge that experts say is preventable with simple interventions as sleeping inside insecticide-treated nets, ensuring that suspected case of malaria is tested and, if positive, treated.
Every individual can do something important. Let's keep our environment clean. Let's avoid stagnant water.
I'm here to fight for children. How do you put a stop to this disease called malaria? By coming together to kick malaria from Africa and across Nigeria.
WHO report shows malaria remains a leading cause of morbidity and mortality in Nigeria.
It's a serious issue that we must all rise against it and ensure that we sensitize our members of the public that they must take responsibility over their health.
If we maintain a clean environment, fumigate our environment, Nigeria will be malaria-free and get that malaria-free declaration status by WHO.
What is even more worrisome, experts say, is that despite funding from government and partners, 44% of household out-of-pocket expenditure is on malaria.
Every year that we let malaria continue to spread, health and development suffer. Malaria is responsible for an average reduction of 1.3% in Africa's economic growth every year.
Although COVID-19 pandemic affected health systems across the globe, development partners, private sector, and government experts say should ensure access to life-saving and cost-effective interventions for each people. Basi Taipam, NTA News.
And Nigeria is accelerating action to drastically reduce the scourge of malaria by 2025. The Minister of Health, Dr. Sagi Ehanire, gave the indication while speaking to the media in Abuja on efforts to combat malaria in commemoration of this year's World Malaria Day. Ekene Ndule reports.
Every 2 minutes, a child under 5 dies of malaria. 27% of global malaria cases comes from Nigeria, with 23% fatality rates. Yet, malaria is preventable and treatable. With the slogan, "Stand up, take action," Nigeria is using this year's World Malaria Day to accelerate actions required to end the scourge. Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Ehanire, says the National Malaria Strategic Plan targets reduction of its prevalence in children to less than 10%.
We shall continue to work hard to ensure less than 10% parasite prevalence and reduce malaria mortality to less than 50 deaths per 1,000 live births by 2025.
Malaria is one disease that we must take seriously as a nation. It affects over 99% of Nigerians. It leads to death of our children and pregnant women.
Partner agencies took turns to reaffirm commitments to fight against malaria in Nigeria.
It's estimated that malaria causes a significant loss in economic growth and puts a strain on household finances.
We must all stand up and take the needed action.
The gathering urges all Nigerians to take action against the disease by keeping their environments clean, sleeping under insecticide-treated nets, and getting tested and treated for malaria. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
And a leading global insecticide brand, Ricket Nigeria, makers of Mortain insecticide, is collaborating with the Ogun State government as part of strategies to reduce malaria burden and achieve its elimination for general well-being of the people. The marketing director, Ricket Nigeria, Tanzim Rizwan, says the intention is to equip consumers of Mortain insecticide with the required knowledge on how to rid the environment of vector-borne diseases such as malaria. Yemi Dalimo tells us more.
Nigeria accounts for 23% of malaria-related deaths, and Ogun State shares 3% from this mortality rate of malaria. To reverse the trend and highlight the best practices in eliminating malaria, Ricket Nigeria says not minding the efficacy of Mortain insecticide in protecting homes from mosquitoes and other crawling insects, the collaboration is targeted at sensitizing members of the public about some control strategies like larval source management to reduce mosquito density.
For Mortain, which is one of the largest and strongest insecticide brand globally, what we believe is our responsibility lies both in terms of making the products access to the people, at the same time making them aware. So to drive the awareness, we'll be having several other programs which will include market activations. We'll be going to the people, we'll be showing them how to clean up the places, how to keep your neighborhood clean, and how you can ensure that you are ensuring you are taking care of the breeding grounds of mosquitoes, so that mosquitoes don't get the chance to spread malaria.
Ogun State government, while commending Ricket Nigeria for the intervention through Mortain insecticide, says government is ready to collaborate with the company.
Government of Ogun State is working with our partners to ensure that proven interventions are deployed towards malaria elimination. These include distribution of free, long-lasting insecticidal treated nets, LLINs, to pregnant women at first booking, and children under 5 years.
Celebrating this year's World Malaria Day with the theme Zero Malaria, Draw the Line Against Malaria, Ricket Nigeria makers of household methane insecticide and other products, says living in a clean and safe environment will go a long way to stamp out breeding sites for vector-borne diseases in Abeokuta. Yemi Dalimo, NTA News.
And in furtherance of its commitment to cushion the negative impact of COVID-19 pandemic on individuals and businesses across the metropolis, Lagos State Government has launched Coronavirus Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Initiative. It's tagged Lagos Cares. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu unveiled the program at an event attended by key players in various sectors in Lagos. Musa Toliat was there.
COVID-19 stimulus program is not unconnected with the need for a sustainable social security initiative that will offer lifeline to vulnerable Lagos residents and bailouts for the business community in the state. The program, an offshoot of the Nigeria COVID-19 Action, Recovery and Economic Stimulus, is targeted at supporting more than 2,000 MSMEs, 20,843 households, while 125,058 residents would indirectly benefit from the program.
The Lagos State CARES program will be implemented between the years 2021 to the year 2023. I urge all Lagosians to therefore key into the deliverables and the benefit that the Lagos Care Initiative and to cooperate with the independent verification agents that will be deployed in all of our neighborhoods to ensure the success of this strategic program.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, while inaugurating a steering committee for Lagos Cares Initiative comprising cabinet members who will oversee the implementation of the program, also launched the Lagos State Human Capital Development Core Working Group with a mandate to ensure effective coordination and implementation of human capital development intervention in the state. The group is to be headed by the Deputy Governor, Obafemi Hamzat. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And on to security matters now. Troops of Operation Lafia Dole on Operation Tora Taikabango have eliminated 21 Boko Haram Islamic State of West Africa Province ISWAP terrorists in Gaidam. The headquarters of Gaidam local government area of Yobe State, a statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Mohammed Yarima, says the terrorists attacked a strategic border town, destroyed 3 communications masts and looted some shops. Now, troops stationed in the location with the support from the air component of Operation Lafia Dole rapidly embarked on pursuit, killing 21 terrorists, recovered a gun truck with an anti-aircraft gun and several other arms. Brigadier General Yarima adds that 3 soldiers that sustained injuries during the encounter are receiving medical attention and are in stable condition. And there is growing concern about security of lives and property in Lagos State as suspected criminals continue to mount brazen attacks on innocent residents. Adeni Taiwo reports that the spike in crime has necessitated calls for effective countermeasures to tackle the menace.
Challenges. Lagos State is unique in dimension and proportion. Despite several measures, security remains a critical challenge for the state as old and emerging crimes such as cultism, armed robbery, kidnapping and sneak attacks on motorists by hoodlums continue to rear their heads.
Intermittently, you begin
Darasimi, not a real name, and Henry Obioma are both living with the scar and trauma of their encounter in the hands of armed robbers who operate one chance, a street coinage for organized robbery in commercial vehicles.
I was beaten. I even sustained some internal muscle infraction, which I had to go to see a physiotherapist. And my account was cleared.
He stepped out of the vehicle and was acting as though he was going to rectify the problem, came to me, opened the door, took away my bag, searched my breast pockets, and took away the money I had just withdrawn from the ATM.
Sad as it sounds, they feel lucky to be alive as dead men do not tell tales.
That same day, even a corpse was found around the axis where I was dropped. A man and his private parts and eyes taken away.
You see, there are areas where you need to wait till sundown, till like 6:37 before you're able to move freely and confidently because you are not sure if you're going to be attacked by someone.
Between January and mid-March 2021, police records indicate that 234 armed robbery suspects were arrested, 343 cultists nabbed, while 1,592 hoodlums were raided. 91 cases of rape and defilement were recorded, while 31 vehicles were stolen.
We have to struggle to provide an enabling and conducive environment for people to get engaged.
Everybody should be a watchdog to ensure that at least the security situation is a bit fair.
As the lead agency in internal security, the police say they are currently evolving proactive measures to roll back crime prevalence in the state.
He provided motorbikes for them so that they'll be able to maneuver in between some of these traffic lines to see how we can get rid of these boys who foment troubles, or who rob or attack vehicle motorists and passengers or commuters in traffic.
It is believed that for Darasimi and other residents of Lagos to roam free and secure, all hands must be on deck and willing to stamp out criminality. Adini Itaiwo, NTA News.
And let's take you to the Southeast now, where the Southeast Governors Forum has reiterated its support for restructuring state police and other issues as discussed in the last National Executive Council NEC meeting. Briefing journalists at the end of its meeting in Enugu, the forum also condemned the attack on the country home of the Imo State Governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma. Susan Eze has the details.
The governors announced their resolutions in a communique presented by the chairman of the forum and governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi.
Southeast governors and leaders reinstated the adoption of a common joint security outfit called Ebubago. We mandated our Honorable Attorney Generals and Commissioner for Justice of the Southeast States to work with the Joint Security Committee to come up with the amendment of the existing state laws to reflect the new Ebubago outfit.
Reiterating its support for restructuring, the forum stated that a committee has been set up to work out acceptable modalities, which would be submitted to the National Executive Council in the next meeting.
The meeting directed Ohanes Ndiwo, President, to immediately form two committees. One is Southeast Peace and Reconciliation Committee to engage our people for the peace and security of our people and our visitors, which means they can engage anybody.
The Christian Association of Nigeria, Southeast Zone. We stand in solidarity with our governors, and we also want to partner with Ohanes Ndiwo in ensuring there is peace in Southeast Zone.
The governors agreed on the implementation of various NSAS youth empowerment programs in the Southeast as soon as possible. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And 45 special duty cadets have been commissioned into the Nigerian Navy to shore up its manpower base. Minister of Defense, represented by Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Lucky Irabo, tasked the newly commissioned officers to brace up to the task of containing rising security infractions in Nigeria. Kingsley Amajiri tells us more.
The new officers who were before now ratings in the Nigerian Navy completed the Special Duty Pre-Commissioning Course 2020 for 6 months. They were chosen owing to their outstanding performance while in service. The training focused on security, professional leadership and management, with practical demonstration cutting across navigation, seamanship, logistics, charting, among others.
The college was able to deliver on the objectives of each of the training package for the officer cadets.
Minister of Defense General Bashir Magashi, retired, challenged the special cadets to deploy the knowledge gained in contributing to the nation's fight against crime and criminality, especially in the maritime domain.
Our nation has in the last few years been challenged by asymmetric and emerging security threats in the form of kidnappings, economic sabotage, warranting the engagement of the armed forces of Nigeria across different theaters of operation. And be prepared to give necessary support to other security agencies when the need arises.
Another 1,170 ratings also passed out from the batch 30 trainees. 191 of them are females. The passing out parade provided the platform for the ratings and the new officers to demonstrate some of the practical skills acquired in the course of the training. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Thank you, Kingsley. And by the way, Minister of Defense is actually General Lucky Irabo. Chief of Defense Staff is General Lucky Irabo and not Lieutenant General, as we said earlier on. Let's take you to Zamfara State, where the state government has shut down 4 major markets and banned sales of petroleum in jerry cans in some troubled communities across the state. The State Commissioner for Information, Ibrahim Magaje Dosara, disclosed this while briefing NTA News on the resurgence of armed banditry in some parts of the state. Haliru Mohammed Umar reports.
The persistent banditry attacks on some communities of Zamfara State in recent time compelled the state government to shut down 4 markets, including that of Magami and Wanke in Gusau local government area, as well as Dansadau and Dauran in Maru and Zurmi local government areas, respectively.
Those markets constitute the major threat and are within the flash areas of armed banditry in the state. So we deemed it necessary to close the markets, to reinforce security, to ensure the protection of lives and property.
The commissioner, who also announced a ban on sale of petroleum in jerrycans in the most troubled areas of the state, said the state government is disturbed by the senseless killings, maiming and general destruction of lives and property of the citizenry, assuring that frantic effort is being made to ensure the return of peace and security in the state. Ibrahim Dosara, who noted that 25 people were recently killed in some communities of Bakura and Maradun local government areas, however, said security personnel succeeded in killing 30 terrorists during a counter-attack.
Some people were killed even though the stock taking of the casualties are still being conducted by the security men.
Meanwhile, the commissioner said normalcy has been restored in the communities affected by the latest attacks in Gusau local government area of the state. In Gusau, Halir Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
And Governor Bello Mohammed of Zamfara State says a new roadmap to ending the interminable security challenges bedeviling the state has been developed. He stated this while receiving a delegation of the Progressive Governors Forum on a sympathy visit over the recent loss of several lives occasioned by resurgent banditry in some parts of the state. Hamilio Ibrahim reports.
Recent successive attacks by armed bandits on some communities across Gusau, Bakura, Maradun, and Maru local government areas of Zamfara State has resulted in the loss of several lives and wanton destruction of property. The delegation of the Progressive Governors Forum, comprising its chairman, Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State, and his Jigawa State counterpart, Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, was at Zamfara State Government House, Gusau, to commiserate with the government and people of the state over the sad event. Governor Bagudu, who regretted the resurgence of armed banditry in some parts of Zamfara State, despite the concerted effort to end the menace, says the latest incident calls for re-strategizing by the security agencies and other critical stakeholders.
Please accept our heartfelt sympathies and condolences, and we pray that all those who have lost their life, may Allah grant them a Jannah Firdaus.
Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad thanked the Progressive Governors for the visit and informed them that a new roadmap to ending the lingering security challenges bedeviling the state has been developed.
It's more support from Mr. President and the security agencies to support the government, and any way we found necessary that we will tackle the issue that we have at hand.
Governor Muhammad also eulogized President Muhammadu Buhari for the deserved attention he gives to the ongoing effort to achieve lasting peace in Zamfara State. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
And the Nigeria Governors Forum deeply sympathizes with Imo State Governor Senator Hope Uzodinma and those who were injured, maimed and murdered during the violent attack on the governor's country home. A statement by its chairman and governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, says this is taking criminality to reckless and irresponsible heights and affirmed that all hands must be on deck to fish out the perpetrators of the dastardly act. The forum calls on all good citizens of Nigeria to cooperate with the nation's security forces and the government in trying to build a civil and safe environment for all and sundry. And the fruitful journey of an ambitious rural boy from Ishagu blossomed in a later life with the attainment of greater heights in private and public life. Now, this is the story of a former Nigerian ambassador to Vietnam, Mazi Matthias Oji Okafo, compiled in a book titled My Autobiography, and Abubakar Usman Okwanga will tell us all about it.
From Ubegu Omaize Ishagu of Ivo local government area of Ebonyi State, born in 1945, a businessman and an ambassador, the strive for academic qualification shaped his life and brought him to limelight.
My life and this book is what I want to highlight, that is a Thanksgiving book. Continue to trust God. Absolutely, not halfway. Do your bit.
Former President of the Senate describes Ambassador Okafor's biography as thorough and inspirational.
He was offered to Federal Republic of Nigeria as ambassador. He excelled.
When we take this book home, we may learn and begin to do things differently.
I'm encouraged by the message in the book. It will go a very long way in imparting the younger generation.
His personal life experiences captured in the 12 chapters and 178-page book in Abuja. Abubakar Usman Okwanga, NTA News.
And Nigerian university graduates have been enjoined not to be deterred by the current situation in the country, but be focused and determined to succeed in life through innovation and hard work. The founder of Achievers University Owo in Ondo State, Dr. Bode Ayorinde, gave the advice at the 10th convocation of the private institution. Olubume Iroju has the details.
A total of 339 students graduated from various faculties and departments of Achievers University, Owo, with 15 outstanding students bagging first-class degrees. The event also had 3 distinguished Nigerians conferred with honorary degrees, one of whom is the Registrar of Cohen, Engineer Professor Joseph Obufoni Odigore. The founder and Pro-Chancellor of Achievers University, Owo, Bode Ayorinde, enjoined the graduating students not to be deterred by the situation in the country, but be achievers who are determined to be the solution to the prevailing problems in Nigeria.
Listen to the music of achievers. Be determined to succeed, and you will succeed. Hold your head up with a high sense of integrity. Definitely, sky cannot be your limit.
Chancellor of the University and former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, charged government to tackle headlong the incessant insecurity challenges in the country.
Indeed, today must be a remarkable day for both the graduates as well as their parents for the glory of success after swearing. I join your well wishes to say a big congratulations to you all.
Miriam Oloko, who is the overall best graduating student, could not hide her joy.
I never thought I could actually achieve this, but thank God I was able to not only achieve first class, but overall best. Wow.
Achievers University, Owo, was established over 10 years ago and has at present a student strength of over 3,000. From Owo, Olubumi Iroju, NTA News.
And the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN, is building a global brand through new inputs that will continue to drive growth and development of the body. 12th President of the Association, Professor Benjamin Osisioma, stated this at his investiture in Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports.
This procession is a music to the ears of these ANAN members who welcomes a new president at this annual general meeting. The 2-year tenure of Professor Mohammed Akaro Mainoma, the 11th president, has elapsed, and that of Professor Benjamin Osisioma has begun.
I, Professor Benjamin Chuka Osisioma, do solemnly affirm that I will be faithful,
The association is moving from strength to strength in the area of examination, infrastructural development, and repositioning growth in its bid to rebrand itself towards the future.
We have developed capacities and we have enhanced quality staff. We are in a position today to say that ANAN is certainly better than we met it.
Out of nearly 45,000 members of this noble association, I am one of the very few to be charged with the task of directing and leading the affairs of the body. It is both a privilege and a distinct honor.
The new president and his team, who will steer the activities of the association in the next 2 years, is particular about taking it to a new level. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Now, UFC is a relatively new kind of sports, but guess what? A Nigerian has emerged the winner, beating an American. Amazimakos is right here with me in the studio for Sports Update Live. Amazimakos, and I'm wondering, how can that possibly happen?
Well, Nigerians are everywhere, and I'm not surprised that Kamaru Usman has beaten an American at his home ground. After 50 fights, Masvidal never lost. But here we are on Saturday night. The story changed, and I'm sure that
I'm sure you're keeping that for the last.
The life of George Masvidal will never be the same again, because he was defeated in front of his family members, and you know what it means. Well, welcome to sports, and it was a battle of 5 queens and 1 angel at the Depot Dino Stadium in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, in the Super 6 competition of the Nigeria Women Football League. At the end of 5 days of competition, Rivers Angels emerged champions after 5 days with an emphatic 4-0 defeat of Sunshine Queens. The final was also attended by the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, and the President of the Nigeria Football Federation, Amajo Penick. In the English Premier League, Aston Villa and West Bromwich Albion ended their encounter a few minutes ago in a 2-2 draw in one of the Week 33 matches of the English Premier League. In earlier matches decided on Sunday, Leeds and Manchester United played a 0-0 draw, while Burnley won all the 4 goals at Wolves. In a related development, the League Cup was won about 3 hours ago by Manchester City after a deserved victory at Wembley. City beat Tottenham 1-0 to win a record 4th successive Carabao Cup. And now to athletics, where Nigeria's Blessing Okagbare is warming up for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics by winning the 100 meters race at the USA Track and Field Grand Prix in Eugene, Oregon in 10.97 seconds, her season best.
Akino sit nearest the camera, just about Okagbare. She will take it 11 seconds flat for Blessing Okagbare. Excellent run from her, coming strong in the second half of the race. In fact, it's rounded down to
Puerto Rico's Jocelyn Camacho Queen won the 100 meters women's hurdles in 12.46 as Nigeria's Oluwatobilola Amuson placed 5th in 19.10 seconds. Trayvon Bromel won the men's 100 meters final, while Divine Oduduru of Nigeria came 5th in 10.25 seconds. And now from the tracks to the ring, where Nigeria's Kamaru Usman says he is now the pound-for-pound best fighter on the planet after retaining his welterweight belt at the Ultimate Fighting Championship 261 in Jacksonville, Florida, USA. The 33-year-old knocked down George Masvidal early in the second round.
And of all the superlatives...
The American, who had not been defeated in 50 fights, had this to say: "First time in my career, and is in front of all my people, my family and my friends. So it hurts, unquote. Well, there's a sports beat in this Sunday, the first day of the week, and I'm sure that, Claire, you say one day you want to compete in boxing to represent Team NTA?
I'm not Kamaru Usman Amanzi, thank you. All right, that's the news from here. Don't forget, we'll join Becky in a short while after the commercials.
Everybody wants to blow, no